Okay, tomorrow's Friday, Black Friday. I've got my list. I think I have all of the things checked off for all of the kids. I don't know. Maybe things that they'll like, they won't like. I don't know. But I at least have the amounts. I've got it down. And I know what the ads are, and I'm ready. And here we go.
I'll be watching football.
Okay. Well, I'll be thinking about children's gifts.
Football. Let's get into that.
Hey, I'm Andrea Warnock.
I'm Nathan Warnock.
And you've joined us for Family Friday on the Marriage by Design podcast. And this is a time where we get to talk about God's design for family, how we live that out. Sometimes we get into some really spiritual things, and sometimes we talk about just more practical things.
So what are we doing today, babe?
So we're talking about gifts that span the ages of our kids. So
what do you mean by that?
Right. So I think a lot of times for Christmas and birthdays and all that, we can get into this, like, I'm thinking about just this child individual. I have a few children. I'm thinking about just this child individually and what they might like, and just trying to make sure that they all have the same amount of gifts, or that I'm spending the same amount of money on each child, or whatever that looks like. And I have some ideas for you of gifts that we have found, what I said, span the ages, are great gifts for a wide age range that really bring our kids together and they play together with.
So one of the big things on our channel is being intentional in the way that we parent.
And the way we live life and work as a family.
That's right. And so one thing that we can do with Christmas gifts is be intentional about thinking about, are these gifts that are going to bring our family together or drive our family apart? And I'm not meaning to say that we do this with every gift.
No.
Right? I mean, we have one son whose name rhymes with Schmackson, who loves video games, right? And his dad loves video games, so it's understandable. Video games are not necessarily something that bring your family together, but he gets some of those things from time to time for birthdays or Christmas, right? So I'm not talking about, hey, every gift you get is something that's going to bring the family together, but I do think we can be intentional about thinking about gifts that we can be giving that will do that.
Yeah.
So when you came to me and said, hey, let's talk about this, I thought, man, this is a really cool topic because it ties right into being intentional in the way that we parent.
Right. So we've got kids that are aged, not born yet. And then our next one is 1. He'll be 2 in February.
Are you pregnant?
Oh boy. Do you see this?
Yes. So 0, 1.
1. He'll be 2 in February. And then we've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old.
That's Schmackson.
That's the oldest is Ryan Bush-Schmackson. So we've got kids that are in a wide range, and we have a chunk of them that are younger. But and then Jackson, who's kind of, we call our outlier. But we have found some really what?
We call Jackson our outlier.
Well, in age.
That's great.
I hope Jackson never watches this episode now.
Please be the person that sees Jackson somewhere around and tells him his parents said he wasn't.
When we're talking about age,
yes.
He's not in this big clump of the little kids, But we had 5 years with him without having any siblings. So,
and also as the oldest, all of the younger ones love hanging out with him. So that ties right into what you're talking about there.
Right. So we have tried to be intentional over the years of finding toys and activities that everybody enjoys doing together that can, bring them together and create relationship, because I think it's so important for our kids to spend the time together. It's part of the reason that we homeschool, because they have more time together. Mm-hmm. I think it's important for them to really create those bonds and those memories and the time and even just battling it out with issues that come up between siblings and learning how to work those through, because we're with each other and doing the same thing a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, we are intentional with that, and so we really try to sew into those things that all of our kids can do together, or most of them can do together. And again, not all of them, but I mean, not all of the gifts are. But anyway, so I have a list of things that we've found, at least for the majority of our kids. Some of these are for all of, they all enjoy doing it, and the range is 1 to 11.
It's great. And I have not heard this list, so I'm actually really looking forward to hearing this.
And, we don't have anybody older than 11, so I don't know how that plays out in the future. But I'm sure we could have people that tell us, things that their older children enjoy doing together. So I'd love to hear some of those things. And we even think about this in terms of vacations and outings and all that sort of things, we have a wide range. How do we do something that everybody can enjoy together?
Right.
So, okay. So the first thing I would say is Nerf stuff.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So we have Nerf gun wars.
Right.
We have like target practice battles. We have the little ones, like our Lincoln, who's 1. He's just gotten to the point where he can load them by himself, but he can't shoot them, so it requires a parent,
right.
Which is fun because then parents are getting involved, but he loves the Nerf stuff.
Right.
And there's all sorts of a massive amount of different Nerf guns you can get. I mean, we have so many different kinds. There's bow and arrows, and there's guns, and there's ones that have balls that you shoot, and I don't know. We have a lot. We do a lot with Nerf gun stuff.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, nothing says I love you like just blasting your sibling with a Nerf gun.
If they're mad at each other, they can just have a Nerf gun fight.
No, but that's a great. And if I can add a couple of parenting, here's some things you can do. First of all, if you're not up on the latest Nerf technology, there are. You can buy colored bullets now. So, one of the big things when we were growing up with problems with Nerf battles is you would always have that one jerk that hoarded the bullets. Right? So they would just hide somewhere and let everyone else shoot. And they would just run around and pick up all the bullets. So that then, once everyone's done shooting, the one person has 100 bullets and nobody else can defend themselves. Yeah. So you can buy colored either the little Nerf balls or Nerf bullets, and then you just go, and you can buy them in all different kinds, so you don't have to be even just in teams where you can go, okay, Jackson, you're green, Ryan, you're red, Riker, you're blue, shoot that color. And so you can only shoot that color ammunition, and then you got to go collect your darts once you've shot them. Makes it way easier and avoids that fight. Here's another thing. This is something we've done here around the house that I would just throw out there as an idea if you're going to take the Nerf gun route. Collect up all the guns.
I was just going to suggest this.
Have all of the kids go stand in one of the kids' rooms. Then take the guns and hide them around the house. And maybe you put...
And the bullets in separate places.
Right. And maybe you put a magazine to one of the guns in this spot and the gun over in this spot. The lower level guns, the guns that maybe only shoot one dart and then you have to reload, maybe leave those in more obvious places, but hide the more powerful guns in other places. And then do a countdown, throw some, Queen on your Google Home or your Alexa or whatever, and let the kids out of their room. And it's like this adventure where they're running around trying to collect a gun, and then once they get a gun, they're trying to shoot other people.
But watching to see, who has the gun so I don't get shot.
Right.
Because then I have to take, a 10-second timeout.
Right.
If I get shot, because, I'm dead. Whatever.
Right. No, it's a ton of fun.
It's this, capture the flag sort of Nerf gun.
Exactly.
Thing. I don't know. It's super fun.
Yep.
And then our oldest, we'll have... his friends over, and then they all have huge Nerf gun wars outside, and we're finding Nerf bullets for weeks.
But they're super cheap.
They are cheap and they're fun. So that's okay. Nerf stuff.
Good call, babe.
Legos.
Oh yeah.
So of course
Classic.
your little kids can't get in on that because they're too small. But even our 1-year-old, I shouldn't say this on. Our 1-year-old plays with like regular sized Legos.
What?
He doesn't say that. He doesn't put them in his mouth. He just. So I saw him. I came up these stairs the other day and I saw him like on top of the Lego table playing with Legos by himself, which was funny. But Legos is something that our 4, 6, and 11-year-old do a lot together.
Yeah.
So the other thing of that is we actually last Christmas built a Lego table for them, and I said Nathan built a Lego table for them. He is not a handy guy. I mean, that's just reality. He's not a handy guy. But it was a super easy. If you want the plans, we can give them to you. There's not really plans. It's just a simple thing, and it's really easy to do, but it makes a really amazing Lego table.
Yeah, if you want that, marriagebydesignpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know. It makes a really amazing Lego table that actually is very functional and has storage for like all of the massive amounts of Legos that you have.
Yep.
If you have them. Our kids love Legos, and they play a lot with each other.
It's really good.
And it's fun for us to get involved with too.
Really good.
I love non-physical gifts, so gifts of like time. So a family trip might be a great idea. So just thinking about what's a place that we can go where all of us are going to enjoy it. It could even be camping.
Right.
You know, where you're borrowing a tent from somebody. It doesn't have to be hugely expensive. One night away. It could even be in your city. You go, just on a family trip. So
yeah, I want to jump in here on that. This is a really good idea too. If you have like nieces and nephews that you go, well, I don't, maybe financially it's difficult to buy gifts for like your own kids, let alone extended family, but you want to do something to build relationship with them. Man, I would highly encourage you to do gifts of time with nieces and nephews if they're accessible, if they're geographically, if you can do that. I have a brother and sister-in-law who are awesome at this. And, for our kids' birthdays, they generally are giving gifts of time. And those, they had our daughter over to
make cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, to bake cinnamon rolls with pink frosting. And they took one of our sons to a minor league baseball game. And we talk about those trips a lot. And I'd be willing to bet that our kids are going to remember those gifts of time long after all the toys that they got for their birthday are gone.
Yeah, so if finances are difficult, or you just are like, I have so many kids, or I have so many nieces and nephews, I can't buy a gift for everybody individually for all of these extended family, I would encourage you to do gifts of time, because our kids remember those and they love them. Yeah,
it gives you an opportunity to build relationship with those people that you may not get to spend as much time with.
Yep. Magnet tiles are another gift that a lot of our kids enjoy. All of our kids enjoy. We've gotten them several sets of magnet tiles, and there are these blocks they're these thin blocks, plastic blocks that have magnets in them. Look them up and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you can build, houses and whatever with them. I don't know. They build cities with them.
Yeah, this is kind of in the Lego category, only if you have younger kids that you think would struggle with the Lego thing, magnet tiles are a good alternative.
Yeah, they're way faster to put together, and when you need to put them away, it's not like devastating because they've spent 4 hours on building a house.
Yeah, true. That's true.
So the magnet tiles, we've gotten several sets of them so that they can build a lot of different structures. And it's fun to see all the things. They can build like cathedral type looking things, and I don't know.
Yeah.
They all like doing that. And for our littlest one, he enjoys just destroying them. So that's usually like usually it's like either all the kids are deciding, okay, we're just building things for Lincoln to destroy, Or they're all the three older ones are building their city, and I'm over on the side with some magnetiles just building towers that Lincoln is destroying. But we're all together and talking. And...
Right. Yeah, and magnetiles, again, look them up if you don't know what they are, but they're big enough that, you can build structures to like drive Hot Wheels on, or play with little, dollies or trolls or any of those little small figurines. So totally. Bigger than Legos from that regard, but
you
but
can
similar
bring
purpose.
a lot of things in.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, Hot Wheels is the next thing, and that's actually a new discovery for us. But all of our kids.
I mean, we knew Hot Wheels existed.
Oh yes, sorry, it's a new discovery that our kids children. Love them.
Yes,
for us, our kids love them.
Yes, they do.
Also, I'm super thrifty. I don't like to spend money. You can get so many. I just don't. You can get so many of these things on like Facebook Marketplace.
Totally. Hot
Wheels, Magnetile. You can get so many things used, and it's well worth it. So that's also a little plug for buying used. Okay, so Hot Wheels.
From my thrifty
seriously,
wife.
From 1 to 11, our kids are obsessed with them, and we've bought things off of Marketplace, and we build different. I don't know what we do. We just and my in-laws, or not my in-laws, my parents bought this huge Hot Wheels
like multiple story thing.
And just today we were at their house, and my niece and nephew were playing because they're here for the holiday, and they were playing along with our kids, and all 6 kids were like playing with the Hot Wheels thing, and it was fun to see.
Yeah,
so
it was a lot of fun. Hot Wheels.
Okay, timeless. Another one is not like a toy gift, but a membership. So maybe a membership to a zoo. We have a safari park that's really cool around here. Depending upon ages, a children's museum, membership to
science
a trampoline
museum.
Park, a science museum. Oh, those kinds of places. You got to think about what would work for all ages. But my parents actually give us a membership to the zoo every year, and that's a place that we go a lot.
Yeah.
And it brings us together, and it's a fun thing to do.
For sure.
Yard and outdoor games. You can even bring them inside during the winter.
What?
But those are things that all of our kids, like playing. And sometimes we're not playing by the actual rules. That's okay too. But we bring some of those in. I'm talking about the ladder game where you throw the
golf balls.
The golf ball
Polish
strings.
horseshoes. That's not the name of that game, but that is
bags. What's that? Cornhole.
Yep.
All those things you can bring in too. So
ish.
You can. We do.
All right.
Anyway, the outdoor games are fun. And
That's
you can
great.
make up your own games. And that's part of the fun of some of these things is like using your kids using their imagination for how they can use it differently.
That's actually a commonality I've noticed of these things is it encourages your kids to sort of create shared worlds, right? Like shared universe. You're building a Lego world. You're building a Magnetile world.
Yeah.
Encouraging our kids to get off of devices that are building that work, that are doing that imaginary work for them,
planting
and encouraging them to use their own imagination, but collectively as a group,
right,
to create a shared experience is just a common thing that I've noticed.
Yep. So this next thing is books is the next thing. We read tons of books here at this house, and I love that because I get to just like snuggle with the kids and sit, which is nice sometimes. And I would say this is really more, you can get a range, but it's a shorter range of kids. So our 11-year-old isn't generally wanting to read the same books that our 1-year-old is wanting to read.
Sure. He'll
sometimes get in on that. But usually it's like my 6-year-old and my 11-year-old, that's a pretty wide range, and I can read the same chapter book to them. And then my 4-year-old and my 1-year-old are enjoying the same kind of books. So it has books have a smaller range, but again, it is something that can bring them together because you're sitting there doing it together, but then you're also having discussions about that together.
Right.
After the book. And, you know, as they get older with the chapter, and you can even read to your high schoolers, I promise. They might think it's weird at first, but if you make it a habit, they won't think it's weird. My mom read to us even when we were in high school. I remember, like, Pilgrim's Progress, her reading that to us, and several other things. And
Curious George.
No. And anyway, it sparks good discussion.
Right.
A lot of times. Magic Tree House is one that my 11-year-old and my 6-year-old like.
If I can just cut in here real quick and just say, doing read aloud is really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, like, as a parent, you're reading the books.
But I mean, even of chapter books. Like, even if you have younger kids, you know, one thing that you do and that Jackson's school does, and that I would encourage you to do if you're watching this, is pick maybe a longer chapter book and read it while your children are eating lunch. On, you know, either during the day if you're at home, or on the weekend if you're home on the weekend. And it just becomes part of the habit. And I promise you, your kids will look forward to it.
Yeah.
Because even the younger ones might not follow all the subplots and the morals and all that, but they'll follow more than you think they will.
Yeah, they will. Right. They will. And if you're, you know, you can get into some books that have some heavier topics as your kids get older, and they really spark some great discussion.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You know, some history books.
Yep.
Chapter history books. And
yep.
Okay, the next thing is cookbooks. Something that my kids really enjoy doing is cooking, and they have a couple
Take
kids.
after their dad. Tell you what.
Right.
That was rude.
They have a couple cookbooks, like kids' cookbooks that they can pick things out of. And it's something that everybody likes to do together, and they also like to do it individually with me. Jackson's actually getting to the age that he can do some things on his own. But
yes, he is. But
they really enjoy cooking, as a group, but then also like with just me. Mm-hmm. So that's a fun thing to bring us all together.
It's great.
Classes is another thing, you know, like painting classes, pottery classes. Again, it's another gift of time, but you can span a lot of ages with a gift of class, like a class that your kids might think is really cool. Yeah,
this is another time I'll jump in and just say you can find a ton of content like this for free on like YouTube. So you could even like have a YouTube video about how to do origami.
Sure.
And put it on the TV and sit there with your kids, and you can pause the video if they have questions or whatever. And the same thing, you know, I would say for learning. Like, you know, if you're hanging out with your kids and they build a pyramid with magnetiles and you go, that's a really cool pyramid. And somebody goes, what's a pyramid?
Yep.
You can, you know, maybe pause that and go pull up a YouTube on the Egyptian pyramids and show them and have some conversation with the kids about those types of things, or go to the library together, whatever. So anyway, you probably can, don't take classes to mean stuff you have to pay for. There's a lot of things that you can access for free just from your computer or your TV.
Sure, yeah, and you could, do that. Okay, art supplies is another great gift for lots of different ages. There's such a huge, vast, array of art supplies. There's some that are kits that you can make slime or bath bombs, and even just stickers, and I don't know. Our kids like just sitting around and getting all the mess out and making messes.
and even the one that doesn't. We have a son that rhymes with Schmackson, and
again
he kind of breaks out into hives when we talk about doing art projects.
Sometimes.
But the point of why I'm bringing this up is you can encourage your kids to spend some time doing those. You know, if Ryan and Riker want to do an art project, there have been times when I've told Jackson, like, hey, I know you want to dress up like a pirate and go play with your buddy. Let's take this time and let's make a map of the island that you and your buddy are going to be
So we're all
attacking.
they're doing their art project.
Right.
Jackson's doing an art project. He doesn't really know that he's doing an art project.
That's right, because he's just making something for this thing he wants to play with his
But
buddies.
we're all sitting together.
But we're all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or you can get a, how to draw. We have some of these, not in here, I guess, but how to draw people. He's more into, or doing origami. Anyway, rather than, gluing buttons.
Right.
Okay, so the next is board games.
Oh, yeah.
So you can get board games that, again, if you have kids like our kids' ages that your 11-year-old likes, but you can bring in the 6-year-old and the 4-year-old on those. Yeah. So we have a game actually just the other day we were playing, King of Tokyo, and it's a fun game. We enjoy it. Our 11-year-old enjoys it. Our 6-year-old can kind of understand the rules, but our 4-year-old likes rolling the dice. So.
Right, it's a dice game. It's again, just to say it again, it's called King of Tokyo, and I'd encourage you to look it up. It's not expensive, $30-$40. There's 3 examples of it: King of Tokyo, King of New York, and King of Tokyo Dark. Just get the King of Tokyo original one. And it's got tons of content. Jackson and I right now are doing a tournament of it where we drew up a bracket with the different characters and they're all battling it out. And again, Ryan will get in there and roll the dice. Riker will roll the dice. You can get in there with it. Lincoln, our 1-year-old, sat on my lap for 10 or 15 minutes. The entire game takes 20 to 30 minutes to play. So it's a short game. But it's a lot of fun. And there's a ton of games.
If you want game suggestions, ask Nathan, because he is the knowledge hub of games. Oh my gosh, this guy, he loves board games.
That's right. And if you have just younger kids and you're looking for games you can play with your younger kids.
There's some great younger kid games.
There's a game producer called Haba, Haba, that you can search. Haba board games. There's a ton of them. A lot of them are good I'm talking about for younger kids. There's also, there's a game called My First Castle Panic. That's a good game.
For younger kids, for 4, 6,
but it's matching, color and shape matching. Yeah. That type of age.
But I'm saying for our Ryan and Riker age, if you have age 3 to 6, 7, there's a game called Zingo.
Yep. It's a sight recognition game.
Kind of like bingo, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the great thing about board games it's competitive. So it gets those which is not always a good thing. But I do think it's important. That's right. It's important for our kids to learn how to be winners and losers.
Yep.
And there's a ton of games that are immersive in a theme. If your kids like a certain kind of theme, or are fun, there's an incredible number of board games that are actually challenging for adults, but are created in a way that you can play competitively with even your young children.
Yep. And this is a great thing that, again, if you've got a wide range of ages, and maybe your older ones stay up a little bit later than your younger ones. Great. When your younger ones go to bed, you can play a game that's more geared toward your older ones.
Totally.
Or during nap time, something to do.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
We enjoy a lot of games here in this house. And then the last thing I have is a fort. And I know you're you don't buy a fort for Christmas. But one year we bought, I've bought sheets and things over the years, but we bought these clips. They're
chip clips, kind of. They're for they're
photography almost. They're not that strong. Photographers use it to gather material. Women who've been to a dress fitting, you know how or when you're trying on wedding dresses, if it's too big, they use a clip in the back while you're trying it on and figuring out if you want to buy it. It's those kinds of clips. Nathan's looking at me. He has no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, they're not chip clips. They're fork clips. I don't know what they're called.
They are fork clips. They're great. They're great for that.
Anyway,
but blankets, sheets,
it's something that you can use on a table. It's got kind of pads on it, so it's not going to wreck your table, but you can just clip the blankets or the sheets or whatever it is to the table, or clip it to your chairs, or so you're not constantly trying to find your heaviest books around the house that we probably don't even have anymore.
Right.
To lay, like we used to.
Right, and too, if you're thinking about getting married, you can use them to, like, if the dress is too big, you clip it in the back. And I heard that one time on a show.
I don't know how I found them. I can look back in my Amazon. If you want to know what the heck I bought, let me know. I'll
just let us know. We'll just send you our Amazon password.
Yeah, I'll just give you the information. Anyway, they've been great because we actually need to get more.
Yeah.
But we've bought sheets, and sheets are a great thing to use for forts. And these clips over the years specifically just for forts.
Right, and you can get sheets with stars on them. Where it's like you can create,
and
like,
you can get the
fun sheets,
lights, the white lights or whatever
totally.
Plug in and put in the forts. Forts are a fun thing that we have found all of our kids really love.
Yep.
And play in for a long time, all of them together.
Totally. Yep.
That's my list. I'd love to know if you've got, especially if you've got older kids and you've found things that they like to do together, because we'll enter that stage at some point in the future. And I'm sure we've got other people listening that are in that stage. If you've got other ideas for gifts that span the ages, let us know.
It's great. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you found this helpful as you prepare for your Black Friday escapades.
Hopefully I haven't totally thrown your list out.
Right.
But maybe I have.
That's right. Well, it's great. I mean, we should do everything we can as parents to build camaraderie and relationship amongst our children.
And each other, yeah.
And if we can buy gifts that help do that, that's great. So thanks for bringing that, babe. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you will have, depending on when you're listening to this, an excellent Thanksgiving today if you're in the United States. Take time to talk with your kids about thankfulness and the things that we're thankful for and what it means to have Thanksgiving in our heart, as the psalmist said. Mm-hmm. And I hope you just have a really blessed day. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. And remember, God is for your family. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Marriage by Design. If you were impacted by this video, like it by hitting the thumbs up below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and once you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new episodes release.
Excellent. Also, one of the huge pillars of our show is interactivity between us and you. So we would love you to comment down in the comments below if you have thoughts about this video, or if you have questions or other things you'd like to see considered in the future. In addition, if you'd like, you can email us. That's marriagebydesignpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram @marriagebydesignpodcast, or you can find us on Facebook by searching Marriage by Design Podcast. Finally, if you want to, you can tweet at us. We do have a Twitter account that is @MarriageXDesign. Thanks, and have a great day.